The other day, me and my friends got ready for an event. We took a respectable amount of time getting ready, which is a lie, because if I told you how long it took, it wouldn't be respectable. It would be concerning. So of course, we had to take photos. I hand over my phone to my best friend, and while I'm figuring out poses that don't make me look completely clueless and lost, she asks me a simple question, a straightforward one, but a question I carry with myself till date. She asks, Snapchat or normal camera? I brushed that off with a casual, whatever works. But later that night, when I sat down to upload photos, I realized that the only ones which worked were all taken on Snapchat, which made me pause and wonder, was that really a choice or had it become a condition? Good morning everyone, I'm Janvi Deep, a student, a poet and a teen living in a generation that sees through social media and also feels seen because of it. Now think about it. Remember the last time you didn't upload a photo? Not because it was bad, but because it wasn't good enough. Or when you spend more time editing a photo than actually living in the moment it came from. Somewhere along the way, sharing stopped being spontaneous and started becoming selective. And that is exactly when our self-esteem becomes directly proportional to the accuracy percentage of how social media worthy we are. Social media worthy. Let's hold on to the phrase. Because what does it mean to be one? Rather, what does it take to be one? And if we look around ourselves, the answer is quite obvious. Filters. And no, not the Rio de Janeiro one from Instagram or the Spider-Man one from Snapchat, which I agree does get the work done most of the time. I don't just mean digital filters. I mean filters that we put over the real and the raw. Ones that blur asymmetry, softens the edges, deletes individuality. We filter ourselves to fit into molds we were supposed to outgrow. But, like they say, before you change the system, you must study the system. Before you think of the solution, you must think of the problem. So today, before we fix our relationship with social media, let us understand, why do we filter ourselves the way we do? Ladies, gentlemen and others, let me introduce to you all what I like to call the triple C effect of social media: curation, comparison and control. Let's start with the first C, curation. Sounds harmless, right? Even creative. Museums curate art, we curate playlists, everyone curates something or the other. It's our brain's way of asking, how do we want to be seen? And it comes from something very human. Psychologically speaking, it comes from impression management. It's just us asking ourselves, what part do I want to show? And what to hide? So we upload the clear fits, the good pictures, the achievements, and we crop out the failures, the breakdowns, the bad hair days. Not because we are fake, but because we don't want to seem less than an ever-changing standard. But to some extent, this seems fine. I mean, who doesn't want to seem as presentable? But the problem arises when we stop asking, how do I feel about this photo? And start asking, how will they feel about it? When curation stops being a choice and starts becoming a requirement. When we don't ask, should I post it because I like it? And rather ask, what if they don't like it? That is when curation gets accompanied with caution. And while something or the other keeps curating in the cauldron, dense air hangs by as another fear arises. The fear of, am I enough? Am I just as pretty as the girl I scrolled past? Is my life as aesthetic as the story I just saw? Like Olivia Rodrigo rightly said in her song, comparison is killing me slowly. I would have sung that for you, but I'm afraid I'm not much of a singer. So you see, comparison is just the modern day version of trying to be like Sharma Ji Ki Beti. We have rewired our brains into thinking that someone else's positivity is a challenge for us and we must accomplish it. This puts us in a constant competition against people who are blissfully unaware that someone out there is stalking them to the birthday of their pets. You see, comparison makes us do weird things. We naturally assume that someone else had a better morning just because we posted the sunrise on the golden hour. But what happens when things aren't the same? For example, the other day, you would have found me cribbing. Why is my photo with the moon not as pretty as the other girls? While being completely ignorant of the fact that hers was taken on a professional camera, but mine on my phone. So what do we do with them? Because we know the resources can never be equal. How and why do we compete? And this is exactly where our third C comes into picture, control. When we can't compete apples to apples, we put forward the best quality of oranges. Let me stop talking so fruity. We put forth our best foot because that's the maximum best we can provide. But if our best is always going to be someone's mediocre, why do we still do it? We do it because of a simple mechanism, the satisfaction mechanism. I mean, I might not be iconic with my Rode lip balm and iPhone case, but I can be amazing with my cocoa flavored lip balm, right? I mean, you get the point. You've chosen the battle, entered it, and now we've got to fight with everything left in us. Because that way, we get to choose how everyone else is feeling about it. After all, no gossip ever included a picture-perfect photo. But doing this, we all forgot. No one really signed up for the battle. In fact, there's no need for the battle at all. Because when the sun sets down, it's every soldier wondering what went wrong. Where did things go downhill? And we do know where they went downhill. They went downhill the day we put our self-esteem on trial and let social media be the prosecutor. But that's the thing. Social media is not just an interface anymore. It's a lot deeper than we realize. Let's understand this through a small exercise. Look at the screen. Gloomy photos. Did you feel your mood shift a bit? I can already sense that the atmosphere became tense. Now imagine if you had to wake up and look at such photos every day. Wouldn't you start feeling a bit negative? Now, for a change, look at these. Happy faces, sunshine. The difficult times, nothing in mind. Just positivity. Now, if you had to deal with these every day, wouldn't you start feeling a bit positive yourself? Maybe optimistic. Now, what just happened wasn't just feelings or intuition. It was psychology, and not as harmless as we think. In one of its largest experiments ever conducted, the Facebook researchers manipulated people's content. A certain group of people only and only saw happy content and the other sad. And then they studied the behavior. The results? People adapted what they were exposed to. Happy content led to happier posts. Sad content led to sad posts. It's as if social media was a psychological mirror, not only reflecting what we believe, but actually what we are, that too without our consent. And that is why I like to call it the social mirror. But these days, this mirror has been distorting our reflection a lot, to a point we really cannot recognize ourselves. Ask yourself that honest question today. If tomorrow somebody took away all the trends, the algorithm, how much of yourself would be left? The real you, the authentic you. It's high time we evaluate and figure out who we really were before we got into the competition with the Korean influencer with glass skin. So, how do we do it? Because when you think about it, it overwhelms you. And the first step, always scary. But here's the truth. None of this is irreversible. The cold run isn't permanent. There are more fruits than just apples and oranges. And progress, it differs for everyone. And it's time we claim our pace back, one small step at a time. Change the narrative. Redefine what it means to be social media worthy. Put whatever photos you like. Choose yourself. And before you post something, ask yourself, am I posting this because I like it or because it's shareable? And that one tiny question changes everything. Flip the script. Sheila is rewriting the track. Or should I say, VR? Post photos you were always afraid to, unedited. Choose yourself. Choose the photos you want, not what the mirror wants to be shown. Don't erase what makes you, you. Don't erase your quirks. Own your feed instead of letting it own you. Refine. Likes, comments, views, none of that defines you. Ignore the negativity. Surround yourselves with people that make you, you. That celebrate you and not the reflection of someone else's feed. Train your mirror in such a way that when you ask, mirror, mirror on the wall, whose reflection is being seen by all? The mirror replies, yours, and not some viral person's. Now, while all of this is for ourselves, reclaiming our pace, choosing positivity, there's one more layer. We aren't islands. Did you know that social media was a shared space? Exactly. So why not make it a good one to be in? Let's stop hating, judging, criticizing. Let's start celebrating. Double tap for the hilarious selfie you see. Clap for someone's vibrant kitchen. And post something kind in the comments. Not just for the memes, but also the poetries. Because when you choose to be kind online, it rewires the system. And together, all of us can do so much more. That one small act of positivity doesn't just lift others, it lifts you too. And that's the beautiful thing. It's not just that the internet changes, it's you. You start noticing imperfect moments, the slow mornings, the messy hairstyles, and hey, there's where messy buns come into picture. You watch your self-esteem grow. You grow out of molds you were supposed to long ago, and you'll realize that the only thing more beautiful than life is life without a filter. Now, life without a filter doesn't necessarily mean life without chaos. In fact, it thrives on chaos. Being seen on social media isn't equivalent to being seen as flawless. It's equivalent to being fully seen. The playful you, the real you, the one you want to be. And here's the secret no one really talks about. Unfiltered life is like poetry. Free verse, no inspiration, no reference, nothing. Just you, yourself, and your thoughts. So remember that your life isn't a highlight reel. It's a story, a glorious one. Only you can live it. Only you can let it shine in all its unedited and unfiltered moments. Because when you choose to post something from your own approval, social media stops being a canvas and starts being the one you get to paint, not the canvas in other people's hand. And when you validate yourselves, the 2 comments which you forced your friends to do, by the way, feels enough. So, here's to a self-esteem which is directly proportional to yourself and not the social media. To an unfiltered life, to a mirror that shows the purest and cleanest versions of yourselves. Remember this, because at the end of the day, it's night. Just kidding. At the end of the day, mirrors follow the laws of physics, and a good mirror is only the one that shows the exact reflection of how you are. Thank you, everyone.